Hey and welcome everyone to Weird Guy on the Internet playing made-up tabletop games with himself. Today, we are doing a fourth attempt at a first playtest of my Shadowverse tabletop RPG, because something went wrong 3 times already. And we are gonna start with absolute lunacy. Our 4-player characters will face a singular opponent, and you can probably imagine 4v1 situations usually end up with the single player being absolutely demolished. And so our mission for today will be to set a baseline, gauging a power level a singular opponent needs to be to stand any sort of chance against a whole team of player characters. With that being said, let's introduce our contestants. After the OG Shadowverse was shut down on June 30th, the Shadowcraft player Luna, the Runecraft player Isabel, the Forestcraft player Arisa, and the Dragoncraft player Rowan escaped into another world. And that world happens to be Japan, but if it was a card game based society. Their search for the Keeper who shut down the Shadowverse servers led them to the small town of Nekome and Tensei Academy, where all of them enrolled as students. It is currently their first day of school, but they are running late since they had to figure out how phones work, in order to play Shadowverse, of course. Luna, Isabel, Arisa, and Rowan were just outside the school's gate as the bell rang, and now a third-year student is blocking their path. He believes students who cannot follow the rules have no business being educated at a prestigious institution such as Tensei Academy. And he won't allow our heroes to pass, unless they can beat him in a game of Shadowverse, of course. And that's how we end up here. Luna, Isabel, Arisa, and Rowan are starting off with the basic decks of their classes as seen in Shadowverse Champions Battle, but the single legendary card each deck contains has also been removed, and some other cards for increased playability. So don't be surprised if their decks don't necessarily contain 40 cards, as is technically mandated in the Shadowverse virtual card game. This is not necessary for the tabletop RPG. Their opponent's deck is a bit stronger with a couple of gold and 2 legendary cards, but what really makes him a hopefully formidable opponent is a special ability, which gives all followers under his control Storm and Last Words. Deal X damage to the leader who destroyed this follower. X is this follower's maximum defense, so our players will constantly burn themselves whenever they destroy an enemy follower. With the preamble done, Shadowverse, go down. So, well then, let us get into the gameplay. As we are more than 2 players, a coin toss won't do to determine who starts. So let's roll initiative first to see who gets to play first and second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on. Roll a d100, the blue die is the 10th percentile. So for Luna, rolling first, we got a 41. Should have rolled our Swordcraft playing opponent first, so let's do that second. That is a 51, so Luna will act later than the Swordcraft player. Let's see, Isabel? 35. She will act later than him as well. Arisa as well, and can Rowan act first? No, he can't. So, we will be starting our turn with the Swordcraft player, and then all of our player characters will get to act one after another, but since they are, since they are on a single team, they will actually get to act at the same time. Since I'm only one person, I will of course basically have them or let them act one after another. In any case, first up is our Swordcraft player. He has 1 play point available, and he will get to draw 3 cards, as he is an opponent, and opponents in this game will cheat quite a lot actually. He will get to decide which cards he wants to draw. So let's draw 3 cards we might like from the deck. Yes, and I think those 3 are pretty good. So Vanguard, Veteran Lancer, and Mentor's Teachings. And then... maybe I will try to draw the legendary card as well, as we have a good opening anyways already. Yeah, so let's try to draw a legendary card. Opponents may draw whatever card they want, unless it is a legendary card. For that, they will need to succeed on a luck check, which in this opponent's case is a 40. So let's roll a luck check. 10 is the 10th percentile again. Ooh, and that is a 10 on the luck check, so below 40, which means we get to draw our legendary card for first card of turn. Good! That makes our hand Vanguard, Mentor's Teachings, Veteran Lancer, and Aurelia Regal Saber. So, 1 play point. Let's put the Vanguard on the board. Those dice we probably won't need anymore. Oh, well, actually, I do have Sea Queen Otohime in there still. Yeah, so I have 1 more legendary, or our opponent has 1 more legendary card. So we might need these dice again later. But first of all, Vanguard comes into play. A special ability of the Swordcraft player gives Vanguard Storm. And we will get to attack one of our player characters. Now, to determine who is the most dangerous, I am not entirely sure. All of their decks are pretty damn terrible. But I think Arisa might be the most dangerous of them, as her combo ability, which increases the attack of the Rhinoceros, as a combo ability would allow her to... her combo is increased by cards her allies play, as long as they have a combined turn, which is always the case when they are acting one after another. Since we only have 1 opponent, they are always acting one after another. So she basically gets 4 times the combo she would usually get. I hope that makes sense. So her Rhinoceros, even though she has only 1, will be extremely dangerous. And of course all cards that have bonus effects when 2 or more cards are being played before them will also basically always activate for her. So he attacks Arisa with good reason, I think. And with that, the next turn is for our player characters. Let's set their play points to 1. Where is Rowan's play points? Those probably. Everyone 1 play point. And let's draw some cards for them. Now, for our characters to draw cards, since it is the first turn, they will roll 3 d20s, determine keywords of the cards they will draw from their keyword table, and then draw cards that feature that keyword at will. Starting with Luna, she rolled a 6. That corresponds to the keyword. Let me check my list real quick. That corresponds to the keyword evolution, which I believe she only has 1 card in there that has an evolution effect, which will be the Playful Necromancer. Drawing that from the deck first. Then the second keyword she rolled is Last Words at 12, and 11 is also a Last Words keyword. So let's see, do we have some good cards with Last Words in this deck? And we have the Ghostly Rider, but it's a little too high in cost. Same goes for the Undead King. Do we not have a lower cost Last Words follower? Well, she should have, yes, Grave Waker. No, I think we kinda have to go with Gravewaker and Ghostly Rider. Huh. Do some very high cost followers. I'm a little disappointed in that, but there we go. On keyword 1 on her list is fanfare. And 1 cost followers we do not have, so we take the next, or we take a follower with the given keyword, fanfare, of the next higher cost. And that will be a Spartoy Sergeant, who has a fanfare effect and costs only 2 play points. And, well, nothing to play with 1 play point, so that's all Luna can do for now. Next up, Isabel. Her initial draw, that's a 12. For Runecraft, that is a vanilla card, so a card without a keyword. Which will we choose? Well, that's basically most of her spells, so let's draw some insight. Where are you going? Go there. Good. 8 is also a vanilla card, so let's draw another insight, and we will simply copy that one. The reason for that is simple. In this game, you don't exhaust your deck. At least not the bronze and silver cards in your deck. Only gold and legendary cards are limited. Legendary cards can be included once, so 1 copy of each legendary card in a deck. They are a bit stronger, however. And gold cards can only be put into a deck 3 times, as it would be the case in the normal card game. So, and keyword number 4 is a card with spell boost. Let's choose the Flame Destroyer for that one. That's a pretty good idea. And then let's draw a card for turn. That is 8 cost, and 7 is again a spell boost card. 8 cost. Oh wait, that is actually exactly Fiery Embrace. So let's draw that as well. And Isabel can actually use her 1 play point she has and use Insight to draw another card. Now, different from the... That's a vanilla card and 3 cost. That is... probably going to be, let's see, either Magic Missile or Conjure Golem, since she doesn't have 3 play point cards that don't have a keyword. So either one of those. We have a lot of card draw already. I'm still gonna take the Magic Missile. Mainly because their opponent is probably gonna spawn quite a number of knights. So, what was I saying? Ah, yes. The spell cards won't actually go into the graveyard in this game. They will get banished. 2 reasons for that. First of all, if you weren't playing on, in this case, a simulator table, but just with pieces of paper and dice, it would probably be quite difficult and annoying to track when your friend plays like a dozen different instant effect spells and you're the Shadowcraft player keeping track of the graveyard. Then it would be kind of annoying to track how many spells they actually played. And the second reason is it would just fill up the graveyard infinitely faster. So I decided to put the spells into the banishment zone, basically, instead of putting them in the graveyard. That being said, these banished graves, or whenever spells are put into banishment, Isabel will get a stack of spell boost. So that card in banishment, that is her 1 spell boost. And she can use these spell boost stacks to decrease the cost of the Flame Destroyer, for example. Good. Let's move on to Arisa. 3d20s. 14, 10, and 20. Those are all vanilla cards. Which ones will we draw? I believe there aren't too many. Well, there's Okami. But I think we will simply be going with 3 copies of Sylvan Justice. And unfortunately nothing else we can do with 1 play point. Unless... Almost forgot. 3 play points, a vanilla card. Yeah, unfortunately that's another Sylvan Justice. I am pretty certain of that. And finally, Rowan. So we end up with 4 Sylvan Justices. Technically an illegal play, at least in the original game. And last up is Rowan. 6, 12, and 12. And that is 2 vanilla cards for the 2 12s. And 6 is a card with Strike, which is only 1 in his deck. So let's draw that right away. That is the Disaster Dragon. Where the hell is his hand? Ah, there it is. And the 2 vanilla cards. Which ones should we draw? Let's draw a Blazing Breath. We could draw a fighter. Do we have... I think I will draw another Blazing Breath. It is less likely to draw that than the fighter. Actually, let me just copy that one. Good! And 1 draw for turn. Let's see how it goes. That is a 1 cost vanilla card. That is another Blazing Breath, which he will use immediately to blow up the Vanguard. The follower will of course go into the graveyard. And Rowan will take 2 damage since he destroyed one of the Swordcraft players' followers. Good, and that finishes the first turn for our players. Let's go back to our opponent. 2 play points. And which card will he want to draw? I mean, he has a 2 play point follower on the field already with... Or, well, not on the field, but in his hand already with the Veteran Lancer. So let's see if we can draw Sea Queen Otohime. Oh wow, he is lucky. Yes, we can draw Sea Queen Otohime. Oh, oops. Of course, it always draws into my hand. Game doesn't know I'm assuming the role of each player. Well, second turn, let's play the Veteran Lancer. And again, it gains a Storm. Attacking Arisa again. And of course, this follower also has Ward available. But nothing else he can do with 2 play points only, so... Next up will be our player characters. First of all, I want to draw a card for Arisa. Maybe 8 and 15. That is a vanilla card with 8 cost, and that will be, unfortunately, Okami. I have a feeling we will see him quite a lot, actually. Yeah, but that doesn't really... Well, it doesn't have a combo ability, so doesn't really help, unfortunately. So... Arisa... let's just use a... Oops. Let's just use a Sylvan Justice to destroy the Veteran Lancer. Into the graveyard with you, and that of course gives us a fairy into our hand, or into Arisa's hand, I guess. And that will have been Arisa's turn, but of course she loses 2 HP since she destroyed the Veteran Lancer, and it had 2 HP. Next up, Luna. Let's see what Luna is gonna draw. I can delete those 2 dice. Luna is drawing a 10 cost, probably vanilla follower? No, a 10 cost follower with Last Words effect, which will designate the Undead King. Not exactly 10 play points, but closest we have to 10 play points. With her 2 play points, she will, however, be able to play a Spartoy Sergeant. Put it on the field. But nothing else she can do for now. Then we have Isabel drawing a card for turn. 6 on the keyword table is Spell Boost, is a card with Spell Boost, and a card with Spell Boost that costs 6. I don't think we have one, but we have one card with Spell Boost that costs 5, which is the Lightning Shooter. Let's put that in our hand. What else can we do in this situation? Well, we can either play Magic Missile or Insight. I guess we will probably be opting for Insight in this case. And draw another card. 5 and 11. 11 on the keyword table is a vanilla card, and 5 cost will get us either Conjure Golem or Magic Missile, I believe. So let's get us a... yeah, we probably want to fill the area, right? So let's get us a Conjure Golem this time. And that will have been her turn. Last up is Rowan. Let's see what he can draw. 2 cost, vanilla card. See what we have. I'm pretty sure, yeah, we have a fighter. I believe that's the only 2 cost vanilla card he has. So let's draw a fighter. And put it on the field right away. And since those cards do not get Storm, that is all our team or our player characters can do for now. Switching back to their opponent. We are on turn 3. Let's see what we can get for 3 play points. So I think the best one we can get is probably the Goblin Mount Ogre. So let's draw that and put it on the field right away. And it, of course, does get Storm as well. Not really able to destroy any of their followers, however. So let's just let the Goblin Mount Ogre run into Arisa, bringing her down to 14 HP. And yeah, that's basically all we can do for now. Pretty strong effect on paper, giving everything storm and burn damage, but yeah. Well, I guess it doesn't really open up too many opportunities for plays, since it doesn't give him more play points or cards. Well, we'll see how the scores end up looking in the end. Next up, Luna again. And wait, no, we are starting with Arisa. Maybe 3 and a vanilla card. Oops. That is most definitely not what I wanted. How do I put that back? No! Let's go back one step. Okay, that looks fine. So 3 play points, vanilla card. Let's see. Yeah, it's probably Sylvan Justice, isn't it? Yes, it is Sylvan Justice. One issue with that system, but we will discuss that after the match. So, we got an abundance of Sylvan Justices and 3 play points. So, let's play one of those. Deal 2 damage to the Goblin Mount Ogre. And also put a fairy on the field. And back in our hand. One for the Sylvan Justice, and we played one from our hand. And that makes 3 play points. I think for the next turn I want Rowan. That is 11. That is a vanilla card with 4 cost. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Death Dragon. Yeah, that is Death Dragon. Good. Put that on in the hand. We got 3 play points, and we can destroy the Goblin Mount Ogre with a Blazing Breath. And of course, take 4 damage in the process. But we can't really do anything else, unfortunately. Well, not to worry. Next up, Luna. Wait, no, the fighter was Rowan's fighter, right? So, the fighter can attack their Swordcraft opponent. First blood for our team. Well, not exactly first blood, but the first time they hit their opponent. You know what I mean. Good. Well, Luna's turn. That is a vanilla card with a 9 cost. She most definitely does not have a 9 cost card in her deck. So what's the highest cost vanilla card she does have? That would be the fighter, I believe. Kind of. You see, I did remove some cards from their decks to basically increase some of the consistency for drawing cards. So she probably would have had a Mercenary Drifter as well at 3 cost. But yeah, I kind of removed it. So in this case, I guess these decks aren't entirely accurate to their basic counterparts from Champions Battle, in case you were checking if I was telling the truth there. I wasn't. There are some slight changes. But does it really matter? Probably not. In this case, it's actually detrimental, since the Mercenary Drifter would be the better card in this case. But she doesn't have one, so let's put the fighter on the field instead. And she can still also attack with her Spartoy Sergeant for 2 damage. And that ends her turn. Moving on to Isabel. Let's see, that is a vanilla card at 6 cost. And that will be either Magic Missile or Conjure Golem. Let's grab... Yeah, actually, let's grab another Magic Missile. It is also a change to the original deck, since the original deck would have had Conjure Twosome in there. Anyways, we are playing a Conjure Golem, and will be conjuring a Golem. How many? Ooh, we have 7 cards in Spell Boost, actually. Ah, we can probably play a Flame Destroyer next turn. Anyways, Golem on the field, but Isabel had no follower on her field before, so she can't attack this turn. And those were the turns for our player characters. So let's move on to their opponent again. And he will first of all draw a card. Let's see what we can get. Rotation value 4. We got 4 play points now. See what we can get. We could get the Mirage Defender, but we probably will want the Floral Fencer, maybe. Yeah, let us get a Floral Fencer. Evolution is not yet ready. That is only available after turn 5 or from turn 5 onwards for all players. But what we can do is play Aurelia, Regal Saber, which in this game, since legendary cards are so rare and don't regenerate between battles unless characters rest, has gotten a bit stronger than it used to be. First of all, she only costs 3 play points, so we actually have 1 left still, which we will use for our mentor's teachings. Yeah. And otherwise, her effects are the same, so she won't be targetable for enemy spells and effects, and she will get plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to her attack and defense. Actually, is it attack or defense? Check that real quick. Is it just attack? Is it just attack? Oh, it's just attack. Huh. I think I will change that in the rules. Yeah, let's give her plus attack and defense. So, plus 5 to attack and defense. Extremely strong, obviously. That's how I want my legendary cards to be. Uh, 5 cards on the opponent's side. So, plus 5 defense. And plus 5 attack. Leaving her at 7-11. Plus 1 attack, so 8-11. And, well, we will be attacking Arisa. Leaving her at, let's use the button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Since she also got Storm from her... from our players, Swordcraft players' bonus ability. And destroying her will deal 11 damage to someone. Oh boy. Maybe that's the reason they only gave her plus attack in the original card game. But well, that is a boss monster level threat, and that's what I want my legendary cards to be. Oh yeah, we get to draw another card from Mentor's Teachings. Let's see. Let's grab a Mirage Defender. And that will end this player's turn. Next up are our player characters again. And they are in a bit of a pickle, aren't they? Let's start with Arisa again. 4 play points this time. What will she draw? She will draw a card with a fanfare effect and 7 cost. Which card might that be? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, either Magna Botanist or Elf Tracker, but I think Magna Botanist is the better choice here. In case Arisa survives long enough to actually use it. So let's see. We need to destroy this monster of a card. And I guess Arisa will probably just use Sylvan Justice 2 times. And she, of course, can't take the damage from... Oh, wait, actually. Ah. Now let's stagger our turns a little bit. We got 7 cards in that pile. Arisa has 4 play points. I think she will simply place the Okami on the field. And yes, we have 6 cards on the field. In this tabletop RPG, since we have multiple players per team, well, at least in the allied team in this case. Our players, or our field is expanded to 8 spaces, not only 5. So, Arisa has drawn her card, but... And yes, and she also played Okami. That being said, let's move on to... Let's move on to Isabel. And she can simply use some spell boost to blow up the Regal Saber. She will of course take 11 damage, but she is at 20 HP or 20 defense. Pretty healthy. Question is, how many of the spell boosted cards do we use? It is... Wanted to play the Flame Destroyer, but I guess that's not in the cards in the moment. We just use no. Using all would be stupid. We can use a... Actually, we can use 2 magic missiles. And then still use the Fiery Embrace. So let's use 2 magic missiles. Dealing 2 damage to the opponent. And let's roll for card draw. Number 1, that is a vanilla card at 8 cost. That will give us... let's get a Conjure Golem. And let's roll again. 2 cost, vanilla card. Let's get another magic missile. Let's grab 1 from here and copy it. I only wanted 1. Okay, and then we use... Where do we put those? Let's put them there. I can't... I think I can't throw them off the table. Yeah, they just respawn. We have... No. We do. I should have left a player hand there. But I will... Actually, I can just delete them. I have a save point for when the match began. Okay, so we use 8 spell boosts. So we can play Fiery Embrace for free and destroy Aurelia Regal Savior. No questions asked. Incinerated. But not without taking 11 points of damage, leaving Isabel at 9 HP, or defense, I suppose. And that will have been her turn. Moving on, Luna. 4 play points. Let's see what she can draw. 0, so that's 10 play points, and 11. That is a card with the last words, and we know that means Undead King. Now she's at 4 play points, so she can play the Playful Necromancer, and that's the only thing she can play. She can't evolve it, unfortunately, but better than playing nothing, I think. Oops. Anyways, 1 bonus attack for the Okami. Oh no, it's falling through the bowl. My tokens are falling through the bowl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That will have been Luna's turn. Wait, no. She can still attack with her Fighter and Spartoy Sergeant, and Isabel can still attack with the Clay Golem. And Arisa can still attack with her Fairy. So, 2, 4, 6, 7 points of damage. 4, 5, 6, 7 to our opponent. And then it will be Rowan's turn. 4 play points for him. That is a 6-cost card and a vanilla card. Let's see what we have for that. I believe the next highest vanilla card is either Goliath or Death Dragon. And then, of course, we always will want to draw the Death Dragon. And we will be putting one on the field right now, I think. And with that, our field, or our player character's field, is full. And Rowan can still attack with, let's put them in order a little bit, with his Fighter and Death Dragon. No, only with his Fighter. So 2 more damage for our opponent. And even though he had such a strong effect, I think we all can see where this is going. Let's see, probably our player's last turn. Let's see if he can take someone with him. And with someone, I mean Arisa, of course. 5 play points. Well, forged weaponry is too expensive to play. Who do we choose? Can we get 6 damage off somehow? 1, 2, 4 with evolution? No. I guess. Oh wait, the Floral Fencer, right? So let's get a Mentor's teachings. And we will be playing a Floral Fencer, equipping it with Mentor's teachings. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. And we will evolve it. As you probably know, evolved Floral, or on evolution, Floral Fencer will spawn a Knight and an Ironclad Knight. Should be in here somewhere. Ah, there he is. Good. Yeah, turned around a little bit. Here's the remedy for that. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 points of damage on the field. We will be beating Arisa, unfortunately for her. So the Floral Fencer with 5 attack, and the Knight will be storming into her. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dealing 6 damage, exactly enough to defeat her. Destroying both the fairy and the Okami. And the Ironclad Knight, well, 2, 4, 6, 8, 12. Ah, well, he loses anyways. So let's just attack. We'll trade. We'll trade with the Spartoy Sergeant. And actually, there's a mechanic I kind of forgot with the Spartoy Sergeant. It grants, I believe, 2 shadows. And of course, the Steelclad Knight is also destroyed, dealing 2 damage to Luna. I should have put... I think it gives you 2 shadows. I should have put 2 skeletons into the graveyard when it came into play, but I kind of forgot. Next time, I guess. And that will have been our opponent player's turn. Well, let's move on to our player characters, and I think this will be quite simple. We have 4, 6, 7, 8 with evolution, 10, 12, 14. Yeah. We have plenty of damage to destroy our opponent, but we will be evolving. We'll be evolving the Playful Necromancer, summoning 2 ghosts in addition. So 5, 6, 7. 7 points of damage there. Plus 2 points of damage from the fighter, plus 2 points of damage from the... Actually, plus 4 points of damage from the evolved Clay Golem. And then let's, for good measure, evolve the Death Dragon and hit him for another 6 points of damage. And with that, Arisa was defeated, unfortunately, but our player characters managed to beat their opponent and will gain entry to Tensei Academy. And that is the first match of the Shadowverse Tabletop RPG, and hopefully the first match that went well enough to actually make a video out of. So, little or a couple of thoughts at the end. Well, first of all, I noticed some issues, and not only in this match, but in the trial runs before that didn't turn out to become videos. First of all, it's always, I think, the smart thing to focus one opponent, like what I did with Arisa in this case. Which is kind of not really great gameplay, I think. Especially since I intend for this game, if a character loses, as was the case with Arisa here, they can essentially revive as long as they have luck points left over, which all of our characters obviously have. They can revive and regain some HP for trading in luck points. But that means unless you spend a lot of your luck, you will end up with below your maximum HP, which means you will probably be the weakest link once you have chosen in the first match of a dungeon instance, so between resting. Once you have been chosen as a target, you will always be the target if your enemies are playing smart. And that kind of sucks. I mean, it feels a little bit like bullying your players at that point. So, one change to the rules I will want to do is once a player reaches 10 HP or lower, kind of like Vengeance, but for everyone, we will not have to roll or draw cards. You will simply get to search your deck for any card you might think you want. And that forces or makes the calculus for opponent players changes in that sense that it might not be a good idea to put any particular player into this pseudo-vengeance state. So that might encourage them to attack other players and, yeah, reduce their HP. The second issue I have noticed is rolling for card draw is... I think the system is kind of cool because you can edit your deck, so the odds are much higher to draw good cards instead of pretty bad ones. A good example for that would be Isabel's deck compared to Arisa's deck. Arisa's deck has a very high probability to draw Okamis, which are kind of bad, kind of very bad. But simply by removing the Conjure Twosome from Isabel's deck, she has a very high chance to draw either Magic Missile or Conjure Golem. So yeah, by removing some cards from your deck or doing correct deck construction, you can get some pretty good odds to draw cards you actually really want from your deck. So I do in principle like the system, but you have probably noticed during the game it feels a little bit cumbersome. I think it slows down the game quite a bit. The initial intention for the system was basically to assume you're sitting at a bar or at a tavern, I guess, to stay with the tabletop RPG theme, and you want to play a short game of Shadowverse tabletop RPG, then you probably don't have any cards or tokens or anything on hand to construct a deck, so we basically need a system by which you can simulate drawing cards without actually having cards to draw. But that's not really the case, I think. First of all, if you have found this video and have watched this video until now, first of all, thank you, of course. Second of all, you are probably very enfranchised in playing Shadowverse, so you might have some Shadowverse Evolve cards available to use as tokens, and even if you haven't, you might have some token cards from other card games. And even then, you can just write down the names of your cards from your deck on a sheet of paper and like rip it apart and basically draw straws or snippets of paper with the names of the cards on them. So yeah, really is never a situation where you can't just simulate drawing cards by either drawing actual cards or drawing a snippet of paper from a bag or anything. So yeah, although I'm kind of proud of the system and I do like how the deck sheets ended up looking in the character sheet, I think I will probably scrap the system. It hurts my heart, but it's probably a lot faster simply drawing anything else, anything other than cards. But still keep the drawing aspect in place. I will leave it as an optional rule, definitely, but I think for the next playtest, we will be playing by simply drawing cards from the deck. And just assume that if we were playing in person, we would have written card names on little pieces of paper. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the first match played, officially, first match. Let me know what you think. Oh yeah, and I think honestly the power level of the ability my opponent character had was pretty good. I mean, we defeated one player and we got one player low-ish, although that of course was his fault, and one player kind of low as well. So yeah, that's honestly kind of the power level I was hoping for, I think. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. And I hope to see you again in the next playtest video, which will be, well, we'll see. might be a little less lopsided than this one, or might be just as lopsided. We will see, and I hope to see you there. See you. Bye.